it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you for joining me again today for another Simple Stamping Saturday. Yes, another week really has gone by. Scary, I know. Where's the summer going? Can't go yet. We've only just started getting it. So there will be 3 projects. I will show you how to make the quick, easy one, and then I will show you and explain what I did for the next 2, which go through more technique and more equipment, more stuff. I'm using Follow Your Art Suite items, which are on pages 52, 53 and 54 of the annual catalogue. Do remember, if you don't have a copy of the catalogue yet, if you hop over to my website, and there's a link below to the blog post for this video, and from there you'll be able to find the catalogue tab, and on there you will find a form to request a catalogue if you're in the UK. I only sell in the UK, just worth reminding you of that. My team is across Europe, but I only sell in the UK because just one tax authority scares the bejeebers out of me without having to worry about 5. So after that, there are some lovely items in this suite, including the incredibly cute Stamping Up washi tape and the little Stamping Up boxes, which are the cutest thing. I haven't got one made up, but this is how they come. Flat packed boxes, and you get 8 in a pack. They really are the most darling things. Anyway, I digress. So, let me show you what I've made. Oh, and if you are an existing customer of mine, you will already have seen the catalogue. When I sent the catalogue out, I did I gave everyone a T2 tea bag, all my existing customers, and it was wrapped in designer series paper, and I used items from the little embellishment kit. Got a few bits left, but quite a lot of them have gone. Won't tell you how many of those kits I went through. Anyway, so let me get started with today's project. So I'm going to be using both the stamp set and the dies for well, as I work through the projects, but this is what I'm calling the quick and easy project. It doesn't use very many bits of equipment. It's one tiny bit of designer series paper, a piece of card, 1 ink pad, and I must admit both of our what's the word I'm looking for? Watercolour pencils. But you could actually get away with only 1, and I will explain what I mean by that when we make it. So we're going to make this first, and then I will show you the other items. So I need the stamp and my note card envelope, some designer series paper, my note card, and I have got, oh yes, there it is, a piece of just Whisper White cardstock. Now you could, if you wanted to only get the note cards and envelopes, you could use one of the cards rather than buying separate Whisper White cardstock. But Whisper White cardstock's great, so it'll go through printers and things like that, so it's quite useful to have. So I'm just inking up in Pacific Point, which is one of the colours in the suite. I'm just inking up this one stamp, and I'm going to stamp it quite far down on this piece of paper or card. I will be trimming it down to fit, but that is our only stamping on the, actually let's do the envelope while we're at it, on the card. The envelope, as ever with a Simple Stamping project, I've stamped on the envelope, and I'm using 2 of the button images, and again I'm going to use the same Pacific Point ink. So this really is minimal product, and that literally is all the stamping that we're doing. So I'll pop that to one side, and I'll pop that to one side. For the colouring of this, now I've combined both sets of watercolour pencils in my stamp case, but I did use Crushed Curry, which is in the second set, but other than that I used Bermuda Bay, Night of Navy and Basic Grey, And if you were to just use the Daffodil Delight instead of the crushed curry, you wouldn't need the second set. Or actually, you could use the Calypso Coral, which is in the first set as well. So let's substitute the crushed curry for Calypso Coral, or the other way around, whichever is the technically correct grammatical way of saying that. So I'm going to start with my Calypso Coral, and all I'm going to do is colour. I'm not using a blender pen, I'm not using anything other than the watercolour pencils. So having stamped our image, and obviously you could use any colour ink that goes with the designer series paper. You could just use basic, you know, a basic black ink pad, so the Tuxedo Memento Tuxedo Black would be perfect. But I just thought for a change I would use Pacific Point. So although it's Calypso Coral that is in, not Calypso Coral, Coastal Cabana, another CC, that is in the paper, the Bermuda Bay colour is pretty close. I always think of Bermuda Bay as Coastal Cabana's big brother. Whew, brain dangerous. I really shouldn't be allowed out. We don't have a Pacific Point watercolour pencil. We have Balmy Blue and we have Night of Navy. So I'm just going with Night of Navy because it's close enough. It's a dark blue. So, you know, I'm using a little of poetic license with this. Now I am colouring in the direction that the ribbon is going, as in I'm going round rather than up and down, other than on the stripes for the Bermuda Bay. I don't know why, it just feels the right thing to do, so that's why I'm doing it. But obviously, you know, colouring is up to you. You colour how you wish to colour. And then just this last piece of blue, and then we can do some colouring on the reels. Now this is an optional extra, you don't have to colour the reels, but I just think in order to differentiate between the three reels, if you add colour to the top and bottom, or indeed just to the middle, then it's obvious that there are three reels rather than just a stack with, you know, lots of ribbon wrapped around it. I just think it's more pleasing on the eye, is I think what I'm trying to say. So it's been quite warm and muggy the last few days, but there's quite a breeze today, so I've got the windows open, in fact my French window's open, and I'm having to hold things down because otherwise they're blowing around. So fingers crossed that won't happen. Right, okay, so let me grab my trimmer, and all I'm going to do is pop it in and just trim it so that it's as narrow a top and bottom, narrow a strip as possible, and then I'll cut it to size once I have stuck it to the designer series paper. So one of our note cards which comes with the envelopes, you get 20 in a pack. You can get them in either Whisper White or Very Vanilla. This is a Whisper White one. Burnish that. Now I've cut my pattern paper so that it is that the note card is 5 inches by 3.5, and I've cut this piece about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch smaller than the card. So it's one of those arbitrary measures. And what I'm going to do is break my own rule and use some liquid adhesive down one edge. And then I've got a strip from the same designer series paper, but the other side. And I'm going to pop this onto my card so that it's positioned not in the right place, but in the right dimension. And then drop this on top so that it lines up with where it needs to be to make this a square piece of paper. And then all I'm going to do is trim the back, if I can find my snips. There we go. So I'm just going to trim so that that is square to itself. Just like that. And then I can adhere this, and again, whilst I've got liquid adhesive out, I'm just going to continue to just use a very small amount. You don't want to use too much, particularly on paper, because it will warp your paper. But just a little bit, and then pop this onto the front of our card. And just press it all down. So that is our card front done. And then this, I just need to, cut straight would be good. Is that not straight on itself? No, it's not straight on itself. Okay, that's always a plan. So let's resolve that little issue. Yeah, that's horribly crooked. So we'll trim that away. And then we want this to be the same size or thereabouts. So I'm just going to grab a pencil and just make a very small little mark there and trim that so that that mark kind of disappears, and then that will stick on there. So let me just grab some more adhesive. And pop this onto our card front like that. And that is our quick, easy, no fuss version. Then I've stepped it up with this version. You can see it's a similar layout, so we've got the same colour of the same layout of the basic paper. I've matted this onto a piece of Pacific Point, and then I've used some post-it note to mask so I can get this string of buttons. And then I've used the same stamp at the top and then this spool at the bottom, just as a bit of a feature. And this I fussy cut, so I just used my scissors and I used blends to colour. And then for the I've got lots of stuff version, I die cut. And for this, confession time, I forgot that we had this thread in the box. So what I did was I took some Whisper White Baker's Twine, just ordinary Whisper White Baker's Twine, a little dish of water and some drops of Pacific Point ink, and just popped the length of Pacific Point, of Whisper White Baker's Twine into that pot and left it for a while so that the ink could seep into the Baker's Twine. Took it out, dried it, and that's how I got Pacific Point Baker's Twine. So it means that if you've got re-inkers, you can make any colour Baker's Twine you want. And I just wound it round the spool to make a spool of thread. Die cut the buttons. You can thread Baker's Twine through if you want. I'm not fussed one way or the other. But I know some people get really, really upset if you have a button without thread through it. I can get over it. So those are our 3 projects, going from quick to slightly more involved to I've got everything bar the kitchen sink. That's the envelope for the simple version. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to be using this stamp set quite a bit, I think. I love it. And of course, as a crafter, I've got lots of crafty friends. And what's the joy of this is that it covers lots of different crafts. So yes, there's ribbon, there's paper craft. I mean, as in, you know, I've just got nice paper. You've got pens and pencils. There are sequins. There's ink. The dies are amazing. So we've got these lovely borders. I use this one for my top tip on Tuesday. There's an actual paper clip. that you can die cut out of paper, so you can have a paper clip. The die for the pens and pencils, cut them separately, so you can literally have just the pen or pencil you want. And then there's all these lovely buttons, and these are sequins again. So a really nice set of dies. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see the close-up photos, they'll be in the blog post, which is linked immediately-ish below. And it goes straight to this blog post, so you don't have to worry about which day of the week it is or any of that stuff. It's just straight through. As I say, if you would like any of the products, I would be thrilled if you chose to order through me. Do remember we've got bonus days going, so for every £45 you spend in any one order before shipping in July, you get a coupon for £4.50 that you can spend in August. So it's almost like getting, if you only spend £45, it's like getting almost free P&P for August. And there's also the extra joining offer, which means you get more products to choose to put into your starter kit, and you get a voucher to have money off your order for the following month. And that extra offer is for all of July and all of August, so it's the whole time, whereas bonus days is July, spend in July and save in August. All that information is over on my blog, so don't worry about it too much. Thank you very much indeed. Have a fantastic weekend. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!